Everyone, this is your IELTS tutor Washim from EnglishWise. Today we're going to be looking at writing task 2, which is the essay section of IELTS writing. So normally for IELTS writing, there's no actual guidelines and students find it difficult to actually find resources. What do I write? What kinds of things do examiners look for? These are some of the questions that we regularly get frequently from our students. Today I'm going to be trying to explain as brief as I can what kinds of format you should write in and what are some of the things that the examiner is going to be looking for. So let's get started. So as you can see, I've written down the format of the actual response that you should follow. So if you've been trying to write the essay response, you already figured out that you need to write it in 3 or 4 portions, which is introduction, body paragraph, and conclusion. However, you may not know what kinds of things to put into these kinds of each paragraph, how to structure, or what kinds of sentences you have to write. And since you don't have a template, it's really hard to come up with a good response that follows all the criteria that the examiner is going to look for. So at EnglishWise, we like to teach our students some shortcuts, let's say, that helps them take the task and answer the question, answer the essay response in the most appropriate way as they can. So let's get started. Let's look at the introduction portion first. So for the introduction, all you need is the paraphrase and the thesis with an optional neutral opening. So what do I mean by that? A neutral opening is a statement that doesn't affect the whole sentiment of the essay. So let's say you are writing an essay about global warming, something related to global warming. You can just say global warming is an increasingly alarming issue. That statement is very neutral. It doesn't affect anything regarding your response. It is very neutral. So you can use that option that is optional. Secondly, paraphrase. Paraphrase means just copy down the question but remove some of the words with a synonym. So what you're trying to do is writing the same thing, keeping the same meaning, but in your own words. So you can do that. And in the end, we need a thesis statement. In an opinion essay, a thesis would be something like, I prefer this side over that side, I disagree, I agree, stuff like that. Or it can also be a general statement, such as, in this essay, I will discuss some of the reasons and give some solutions to some of these kinds of questions. You can write things like that in your thesis. So for introduction, don't forget to write a paraphrasing, a thesis, and an optional neutral opening sentence. Let's move on to the body paragraph. So the number of body paragraph depends on the kind of response. However, 2 paragraphs is a good idea. So divide the body paragraphs into 2 different paragraphs. In the first one, you want to describe one side or the other side depending on the type of question. For example, if it's like asking for to what extent do you agree or disagree, and if you have chosen the side of I agree with this sentiment, then you have to write 2 body paragraphs that reflects that. So that is generally how you want to do and how you want to structure your body paragraphs. However, there are certain things, certain shortcuts you can use to maximize the writing efficiency, so that you get marks for all grammar, vocab, coherence, and task accomplishments. So let's get started. With body paragraph, you want to start your paragraph with a simple opening statement. So this is going to be something like, let's say if it's about global warming, you can say global warming causes loss of wildlife. So that is a sentence that establishes what the whole whole paragraph is going to be about. So start your body paragraph with one of those simple sentences and follow it up with a supporting statement. An example can be, if we allow global warming to rise, the habitat of animals and plants will get reduced. You can say things like that and use statements such as if, whereas, however, those kinds of words. Try to incorporate as much complex sentences into your body paragraphs as you can. The third thing would be example. So you have to add an example to your supporting statement. So whatever you wrote, you want to say, for example, for instance, and then provide a result, kind of an example. So a lot of students make the mistake of writing down research suggests 71%, or like providing statistics. You don't want to do that. You just want to give a basic explanation, a basic example. Also keep in mind that although IELTS doesn't specify if you can use words like e.g. or i.e. for such as, it's it's a good idea to just use, for example, for instance, such that as words instead of using those kinds of abbreviations. So let's move on to our conclusion. For our conclusion, you only have to do two things: restate the thesis and summarize the whole writing in as few words as you can. This is generally going to be, let's say, restating thesis is going to be 1 or 2 sentences, and summarizing is going to be another 1 or 2 sentences. So a max of 4 sentences in the conclusion. You want to start your conclusion by saying words like "in conclusion" or "to conclude," but don't use words such as "in a nutshell," because that falls under memorized phrases which are heavily frowned upon in IELTS. So restating thesis means in conclusion, blah blah blah, whatever you say, just restate what you've been arguing for throughout the essay. That's all you have to do. On summarize, you have to mention every point that you made in the your essay response in as few words as you can. Be as general as you can. Make it a really simple and clear conclusion, summary, so that the examiner can understand what are some of the main important things that you have been arguing about throughout the essay response. So that is it for today. I hope you guys learned how to structure your essay response for your writing task 2. If you want more tips like this, or an in-depth look into how to write simple sentences and how to write a good supporting statement, how to provide examples and things like that, come over to EnglishWise and join one of our classes, and we will assist you regarding this thing. We also provide weekly personalized feedback, so you will be getting assignments and we will be marking your writing and providing you with a personalized marking. So based on how good you do your grammar, vocab, we check all that and give you feedback, which will contribute a lot in your actual test. So if you want all these resources, come join EnglishWise Brisbane. Thank you for watching.